Today we'll be opening up a Power of the Force Deluxe Boba Fett.
Hit it, hit it, hit it. Get it going. Two mothers went to the park. It was kinda dark. In the daytime, Carl and Ryan in the daytime. Carl and Ryan in the daytime. Carl and Ryan don't niggas come by them in the bush in the hip.
Go ahead, pop that
Come
head.
on, you.
Come on, pop it.
Oh!
What's up, CCNR fans? We're back. We're together. We're excited to be here. I'm clearly excited to be here. CC here, he worked 83 hours in 2 days, or maybe 3 days. But he basically worked all day and all night because he was slaving to the grind. But we decided to do a show anyway. And while we started the show, he fell asleep. But now that we're starting, come on, Sleeping Beauty. You gotta wake up. I can't get too close to you because we're still in quarantine. Are you awake? Your eyes look bloodshot, dude. Your hair looks good, though.
Is it good?
It looks all right. I wanted to ask you because in one of the later...
Are we on? Are we on?
We are literally live, and we can't cut because we don't have enough battery in the cameraman's phone to do this. So I had a question for you because you obviously know a lot about the coronavirus. And
Do I?
And in a previous episode, you mentioned coronatoes.
Coronatoes.
We need to be careful about coronatoes.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Well, I've got ashy knees. Is there such thing as corona knees?
I don't know.
Because I need to get lotion
I don't
on
have
my
any
knees.
lotion here. I use it all. I use it all the other day.
Where at about 12 o'clock at night?
My hands were starting to look like 90-year-old hands because of all the amount of acid and crap I've been putting on my hands. So I've been sleeping with my wife's manicure set where you lotion at your hands and you put those gloves on and you just sleep with those little gloves, and then they wake up and you're like baby soft.
Baby soft hands.
So I've used it all out.
Oh, I thought you were doing something else with that lotion.
No, I'm too tired.
Too tired for that.
So what are we doing tonight?
Well, before we start,
Oh,
like us, subscribe us, click all the links.
Mhm.
We need comments.
do we
need
still
all.
do? I don't think the links still pop up.
You know, you're right.
I don't.
Now that we're back in action, I mean, this season's been crazy with everything going on.
I don't know if there's any links.
There may not. We need to get on the cameraman because he was furloughed. He should be putting links in.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
But anyway, like us and subscribe us. We have a sub channel that's been going on.
You have a sub channel.
I do. Technically, yes, it is me that we do nothing but Lego builds and reviews because you are absolutely anti anything related to building Lego sets. So I have to actually spend more time because the fans have demand Lego, and so I have to do that on my own. But it's a good stress reliever, and the fans get what they want.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, right? So on this episode, we are going to be taking a look at the famous The Child from the Mandalorian Black Series.
Yep.
And we're going to be looking at the, I guess, the first wave, if you call it a wave, of the archived version of the vintage collection.
Yeah.
Repacks.
Is that really a thing?
It is a thing.
It's actually, is it called archive?
It is not called archive like the Black Series because on the vintage, the whole point of having the vintage collection is to have the vintage card. So the brilliant minds of the master big brother Hasbro said, well, we're just going to repack them on a vintage card and see how many collectors we can get to buy them, right? They upgraded the sculpting, which we're going to take a look at. The facial, right, with the face recognition.
Yes.
And I have to say it's questionable.
Really?
And we're going to get into that in a
Could it be
little
just
bit.
a straight repack?
It's definitely not a straight repack.
Okay.
Because they cleverly changed where things were located in the bubbles.
Just enough.
Just enough. And they did change the face, at least on 2 of the figures.
Oh, wow.
So we'll get into that one, do a compare, and we'll get close-ups so you can see that. All right, so let's start with the famous Baby Yoda that everyone's been clamoring on. This is the first attempt, right, at an action figure of Baby Yoda. Watch your hands.
Yeah, be careful.
Get a close-up of that.
Look at that thing.
Now, for those of you that watch the CCNRR show, we have been making predictions, and we have been like Rush Limbaugh says, right 98.99% of the time. Right?
Usually, yes.
And so we said when we were like, they're going to make a Baby Yoda. They're going to milk this, right?
Yep.
We said, how big is it going to be?
Right.
And I said, it's going to be the size of the porks.
Yeah, you did.
And we were going back and forth on it. And sure enough.
The box is the exact box, right?
It is.
It is the exact box.
Except there's more languages.
This one does have, they just keep finding ways to put more
languages.
More and more languages on there.
But this is literally the same box through and through.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to squeeze a Baby Yoda in this box.
And his little treats.
So these treats are so small. You get 3 little treats. You get his, the little
the
frog. You get his bowl, and you get the Mandalorian's gear knob.
The gear shift knob.
And they're so small. They actually gave you a little pill box
to put them in.
Which, that's pretty cool. Because you're guaranteed to lose them.
You don't want to lose them, so now you have a little carrying case.
You get a little carrying case. And I have to say, that is a small figure. So small, I think we need to do something special to show how small the fans are, right?
Yeah.
So let me pull out my magnifying glass.
Oh, I got, you know what?
You
just happens to be that
have one
I have one too.
Yeah, because you know that's what you do. You have to have one. So we have a magnifying glass, and here
can you see cameraman now?
Can you get any of the details?
Does it show any bigger detail? Why don't you explain what you can see?
Well, here, fans, I can see that he's got 2 black eyes.
You're blocking the camera.
Oh, he's got 2 black eyes.
Can you see? Okay.
He actually has some paint in his earlobes.
Oh.
And he's got little claw hands that I can clearly see. I can see. Look at the frog. He's got black eyes on.
They actually
frog.
painted the frog. Can you see that?
Painted the frog.
Look at that.
Let me get a little scope here. Let's see here, because I need glasses. Wow, that is amazing.
That is good. I mean, it's a good thing we had these magnifying glasses.
Maybe
later I can use this to pick some stuff off my feet.
Yeah, you can see if you got corona feet.
Yeah, that's going to be good
Look
for the
at
corona
that shot. Dude, look at that. You get a perfect shot of that guy. Yeah. He looks cuter magnified.
Does he?
Yeah, look at that.
Let me see.
Oh, he looks like he's almost winking.
Wow, yeah, this is good because now maybe Hasbro should have made these and sold them.
Yeah, should have included.
Because now at least when I look at it, I can be like, look, oh wow, he's got this, he's got that.
Yeah.
Does he have? He's got little feet.
Yeah. So the articulation on this guy is rather limited, but he is so small. So you get shoulder articulation, you get ball jointed claw feet and hands.
Wow.
And a ball jointed head. Now, I would say if they would have went the extra mile and given him elbows and legs, or maybe even a cloth cape.
Yeah, cloth.
They
don't go cloth very often anymore.
Especially on a Baby Yoda. It may be controversial because then he'd be naked.
I'm surprised they did not make him with his little bed that he floats around on.
That's true. That's version 2.
Oh, that's the new version. Because the big thing, though, that Hasbro, of all the things Hasbro boasts about, was that he is to scale.
He is to scale.
So if you have a Black Series Mando, the Baby Yoda is supposed to be actually to scale.
To scale.
So they showed a picture of the character in the TV show with the Yoda, like the actual snapshot, and then they snapshot the toy in the same scene with him, and it's exactly the same scale.
So I want to get this straight, just to make sure I understand for the fans. Hasbro has made 4 billion Luke Skywalkers, and they've managed to spell his name wrong.
Yes.
But you're telling me they've been able to scale proportionally accurate a Baby Yoda to a Mando.
Correct.
Well, that is impressive.
Now, they can't get the Mandalorian to stand on his own.
You and that Mando stand it, dude.
But technically, if he was out of the box, he could hold him on his little hand, and it would be to scale.
It would be to scale.
So that is our Mandalorian figure.
Well,
Black Series.
So I'm going to make another bold prediction that we will probably see a Baby Yoda for the vintage collection.
How? And what is the size of that?
Well, the question is proportionally what you think it should be. So I'm thinking we're going to get a Baby Yoda, and he's going to be this big.
Wow, that's going to be really nice.
So here, I don't know if you can see that, cameraman. You need this magnifying glass to actually see that. But this is a Lego head that I predict will be...
And you think that's going to be the size?
I think, but I do think when they release another Mando on the vintage card, it may come with a Baby Yoda because it's so small. It would just be a statue.
That's true. So yeah, I guess it would have to be more of a part of the set.
It would be a part of the set. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, on a side note, in reference to the child, I actually ordered the electronic one.
Oh,
The Furby child.
the Furby child.
And it should be here sometime in 2021. That's what it said. February of 21.
February 21. We are in
May.
still the first half of
May.
2020, right?
I don't. Does it really matter? We're not leaving the house anyway. Half the time.
That's true. That's true. So, well, maybe when we get that, we'll have to do a review.
That's going to be a fun one.
You know, I'm looking at this. Look how small the language is.
Yeah.
I mean, how are collectors who are most likely in their 40s and 50s
Can even read that?
Can even read that? If I put this on here, does it look bigger? Can you see what it says, cameraman? Yeah, does that look good? That's what we're gonna have to start buying. They should include magnifying glasses.
Well, I would keep these handy because you're going to need these when the vintage one comes out.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we should pitch this to Hasbro to sell these.
Yes.
With the figures.
Yes, I agree. Because we've already pitched the retro collection about 10 years ago.
It's true.
And now we have a retro collection.
That is true.
So actually, we're going to keep these out because
right.
the next thing we're going to do, fans, is we're going to look at the new repacks of the first 4 figures that have come out. Now, the understanding behind these figures is that they're re-releasing them so new fans can get them.
Yeah, because God forbid the people didn't collect them, 8-9 years ago, and now they got to pay more in the secondary market for them. So you know what? Let's release them on another card. So now we lesser the value of the original figure, and you get the new one for twice as much as you paid for it 8 years ago.
Yes, and what's interesting about all of that is that the figures that they're releasing are questionable at best. Yeah. Okay, because I can guarantee you, I don't think anybody's looking for General Lando Calrissian from Return of the Jedi, or maybe there's like 5 out of like
not after
200.
not after you've already released them once before.
No. So
the vintage collection is hurting right now. They don't know which way they're going.
Yeah,
hence the fans arguing with them all.
Yeah, I wish they would go ahead and restart and do another line. Because we've got like 200 plus figures already. So anyway, they released 4 figures. There's going to be 8. This is the first 4.
So you have 4 more to look forward to.
I do on repacked cards. So they released back. This is early. This is VC 47, and there are a couple of them are even earlier. And this figure is the General Lando Calrissian for Return of the Jedi. And they basically repacked this figure with the main difference being the photoreal technology.
Of course.
Okay. Now, I want you to look at these figures, and we're going to use the magnifying glass here.
I can notice right now at the bat the bubble is bigger.
The bubble is, the bubble's about the same.
Are you sure? This bubble looks bigger.
No, it's the same.
All right.
Yeah. But it is, if you notice, they took his gun.
No, it is bigger. Look at the base on that bubble compared to that one. It's a different bubble.
It's a different bubble. Yeah, it's wider.
Yeah.
It definitely looks wider.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there you go.
So this is the new one.
This is the new one.
Okay.
They changed his gun from being in his hand.
Got to make a difference.
Got to make a difference.
So the mold is different. The bubble mold.
And then you've got the 300 language sheet.
Now, was Disney over it then?
No.
So it is going to be different.
It is going to be different. And we'll show you the back. But what I want to do is show you the photoreal technology to see if it's even worth wasting your time picking these up. Because it's a marginal difference.
So who is picking these up then? If you already have the figure, why would you want... Is it a new carded number?
No.
So it is still VC 40 whatever.
It is. Now, here's the thing.
So weird.
They wanted to get these out for international collectors. And they wanted to give the opportunity for those that didn't collect before to get them. But again, who wants this figure, right? Who wants to pay $13 for a Lando from episode 6, right? So take a look here. Let's take a look and examine the facial features of that Lando compared to that one.
This Lando looks more Colombian.
He does.
He looks like Pablo Escobar a little bit.
He does.
This one has more of a streamlined haircut.
Yes.
And it does look a little more chiseled.
And it does look like it's a smaller head.
Yes, he does have a smaller head. And I don't know if it's just because the hair is much more bulbous on the original one.
Yeah, so here, fans, get a close-up of that cameraman.
His he looks more, the hair is a little more large.
Yeah.
Where his is a little more streamlined along his head. And his head does look a little smaller.
This is the new one. So that is the first one, and
he
here
does have a cloth cape though, so that's nice.
yeah, you get a cloth cape on this one,
And
but
you
not
get
a
direction,
Mando.
and you get directions.
And you get directions. So there's back. So here, another interesting tidbit for those that are getting into the vintage collection now. Back in the day when these were coming out, they had chads in them. And so, you know, the customer service folks would just plop it on, the chad would blow out, and there'd be chads all over the place, and the stores were complaining. So the new version of the vintage collection, no chad.
They're pre-punched.
They're pre-punched, whereas these were not. So that's your Lando. VC47. All right, the next one. This is probably the coolest out of the three. And this figure, when you talk about value, was a figure that held a lot of value. Because this is VC06, dude.
That's number 6.
That's
first wave.
That is first wave. And this figure, this is the original, was a pretty hard to find figure because, again, it was the first wave. So, like, not a whole lot of people were buying them. A couple of interesting points. I mean, this figure is identical. Absolutely.
Well, it's kind of hard to do a. It's kind of hard to do a facial scan, photo reel on a droid.
But what's interesting about this, if you don't open your figures, all of the plates come off of this figure. Or not all of them, but the chest plate comes off and you see a bunch of electronics. A piece of his leg comes off. His face comes off, which is kind of, it's interesting feature. You wouldn't expect it, right? You'd expect a C-3PO, but he is fully posable all the way around. And probably the better of the 4 figures. And here's the back. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that they released this figure, the old one, on an Empire Strikes Back card.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You think it'd be original 12-back Star Wars. I don't understand why they've changed the verbiage on the front of the card too. C-3PO is not, it's not written the same, just like the Lando is black and white.
Yeah.
Why is the C-3PO written blockier? I don't understand. And are they showing you the original throwback? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. The other thing is that this was when the very first wave, for a few of the first waves, had the Boba Fett. That's where you can mail away for the vintage rocket firing Boba Fett.
Which I still have somewhere right there.
You got that.
It's in his mailer box.
It's in the mailer box. This actually is a crease, dude.
Oh, you better sell it.
It's time to sell.
Yeah, time to get rid of it.
This is like a $50 figure.
Not anymore, it's not. You just because now you can get them for $13.
Yeah, now you can get them right here for $13. Now, Hasbro has clarified on one of their Fan Fridays that these were actually not supposed to be on retail. This was only supposed to be an online order.
And you found it in a store. And
I ironically found this in a store.
How funny that you can't find them in the store, but the ones that aren't supposed to be in the store end up in the store.
That's right. Now, this figure was not punched. So they made some waves that were had the chads and some that didn't. This first wave did not. This I found when I first started collecting the vintage collection. I got in it late. I was like on wave 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I found that one in the wild.
You found this in the loose?
Loose
in the wild?
I found that in the wild, dude. You can see that the chad.
Somebody's been stroking it up on that holster multiple times.
Yep. All right, so the next one.
It does look like the paint on this one is darker. He looks a little more bronzed.
He does look a little more bronze. So the newer one is
definitely a slight differences.
Yeah.
I mean, but it just doesn't make any sense. Why?
But we're talking. This is like a 2008
figure. Yeah, I mean, you're talking 12. Isn't that when the line came out?
No, it was earlier than that.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, you're talking an older figure. Yeah.
All right. So the next one, again, another kind of questionable figure, right? Like another Han Solo. Like, why do we need yet another Han Solo?
They've been hyping that version of Han, because that was the 40th Han, too.
Yeah. So here is your...
And the retro Han, right?
Yeah. This is your Empire Strikes Back Bespin Han VC50.
There he is right there.
Bespin Han, look, it's the same picture. So, again, the figure itself remains very similar. The big draw, again, is going to be the facial feature. Now this one out of the 3 I think looks the best as far as like the photo reel, like marginally looks like Harrison Ford, right?
This is the newer one?
Yeah.
It looks a little bit more crisp,
Right. But people have been complaining about the paint apps on these because mine is actually not that bad, but around the sides of his sideburns, it's like not painted. Although mine is not terrible. The other thing that they changed on this was in the original one, he had his gun in his holster. And then here, it's out of the package so that you can see it displayed. Again, another Chad. This one actually had a Chad on it. And that's your backs. So an interesting product choice. You know, these figures had... Oh, look at that. There you go, dude. Look at that.
Just so you can see the original compared to that one.
Yeah, this is no retro figure here. They did manage to correct the gun.
Yeah, because they did give him a weird gun in this one.
Dude, you almost got that in the tape.
I did. I was
trying.
trying.
You almost had that in the tape.
I was trying.
But, you know, these figures... This figure's got the ball-jointed...
Now I'm not paying attention.
You're not even paying attention, dude.
You talk.
This figure's got the ball-jointed waist, which a lot of the figures did not have. He's got the ball-jointed waist. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to note on the Lando here, his hand freaks me out.
Why?
Look at his fingers on that figure.
They're like this. Oh!
Yeah, look at that hand.
He's got like, you know what his hands look like? I don't know if you can see that, fans. Here.
Yeah,
It looks like ET hands. Like he's got alien fingers.
Yeah,
you see that?
His finger's giant.
Why does it look like that?
I don't know. I was trying before.
Dude, that's
I was
weird.
doing some show.
Dude,
prep.
that's weird. That's a mess up. Oh, they're kind of like that. Well, not as bad. This one's way different.
I was doing some show prep, and I was looking at that. I was like, why does his fingers look so crazy?
That finger's messed up for sure.
It also looks like, look how long his cape is.
Yeah, he's flying.
Yeah, like here.
Yeah, but if you notice in this one, they have it like
draped.
Well, no, it's like almost like it's geared around him differently so that it's pulled up.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Because
this one has a better showmanship.
Yeah, I agree. Because look at this. Look at his cape. It looks like a Superman cape.
Yeah.
Look at that from the side view. It looks like a Superman cape.
That's a big cape.
And this one, it looks like they definitely maybe did some trimming.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely a little short. Maybe he was tripping on it, so they had to cut it.
That's right. All right. All right, so there's those, and then my last ones. This is the worst out of the four.
Why?
So this is you'll see. This is VC04. Okay, so this is pretty early on too. This is Luke on the Bespin card. Okay, now look at his face. There is no real. I think the original one
looks better.
Looks better.
Let me see. Hang on. And then we'll let the fans see.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What the freak? The original one is definitely a better looking figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his face.
And it also looks like he's wearing a diaper.
It's that G.I. Joe look.
Yeah.
I don't like that G.I. Joe look on the Star Wars toys.
All right, so fans, you be the judge here. The photoreal technology, I think the machine maybe been glitching that day because his face does not look like Mark Hamill.
I don't like the G.I. Joe body.
Yeah, I mean... When you look,
that's not Star Wars.
When you look at the Bespin Han, that kind of looks like Harrison Ford.
Absolutely. And
right?
And even the Lando.
The Lando looks a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they try to make it look like freaking Billy D.
But that Bespin, it looks like he's got a diaper on the legs.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that G.I. Joe waist crotchal area.
Yeah, the crotchal area on this guy is definitely not good. Now, again, they switched up. They took the gun out, and they put all the accessories on the side of the bubble, whereas on the original version, he's got his gun in his holster, and he's holding his lightsaber. And then here is your back. But yeah, I would have to say, dude, I feel like the older version is a better. I mean, he just looks kind of like mad there. I'll have to let the fans decide. I mean, this is a very different looking figure than even the vintage one.
I'm not a fan. I'm actually honestly not a fan of this figure at all.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Now, this one was punched, but I do not have the Chad for this.
Well, you better find one.
Better find one. But
you can buy them on eBay.
You could for like $30 a pop, you know. So here, you know what's interesting is you look at these figures on what was out. Some interesting choices in some of the first lineups of figures. Like these are some of the first wave. It was a Hoth Leia, a Forlom, basically a Bespin Luke again, or a Bespin Han, and a Darth Vader.
I wonder if they, when it first came out, if they really didn't know if this line was going to be a popular series line. So they were like, let's just put out some rando figures. Because, you know, like after the first wave or two, they started getting organized.
Yeah.
And then they started doing a little more.
Well, and they were
consistency.
testing the water with
think
this,
they were.
with the saga and the original trilogy line.
Correct.
But here, just again, here's the bottom figures of the Han. And you had some unique figures. You had Logray.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the beginning, they did do a lot of cool figures.
Yeah.
And now it's just regurgitation.
It's literally regurgitation.
And this shows it to you right here. You just bought 4 of the same figures you already had. And they're not even variants.
Yeah.
They're considered archive, but they're not being called archive. At least with the Black Series, they call it archive.
Yeah, if they put archive across the top,
Right, then you would never buy them.
I would never buy them.
And I only have 1 archive figure, and that's because that was the only figure they never made carded separately. So I was like, I'll just buy them to buy them. It was the Biker Scout.
Yeah, I mean, to me, because I'm a completist,
I know.
that's why I'm buying it, and they know that, right?
They do. They
but
sure
if
do.
they were to put somewhere small
It
on
says
here, archive collection,
you wouldn't even bother.
right?
Which is why I didn't bother.
Yeah,
because the Black Series is out of control.
It is. So I found these all at a Target in the wild, which was remarkable.
It is rare, dude.
It is rare.
Because I've still yet to see any retro figures in the wild.
Yeah, I have.
Have you seen any?
No,
I have not seen one.
Other than a Tarkin.
One retro. Well, yes, the Tarkin. But I'm
Tarkin's
talking about Wave
there.
2.
No,
I've yet to see one.
No.
And I've only seen 2 or 3 of the 40th figures, and they're usually destroyed. It's usually the Leia and the Han, and they're always beat to crap.
Yeah, you know, I want to ask the fans here, how is it when you go to a store and you miraculously find a figure? How is it destroyed? Now, granted, that's why it's on the shelf, right? Because it's destroyed.
It's destroyed.
How does it, if it just comes out?
And you just put it on the shelf.
Right. Like, so I found a probe droid in the wild.
Right.
Right. And they wouldn't let me buy it because it was, the street date was the next day.
Correct. Because you had a few of them. I was going to get one to open one.
And literally, it already had looked like it had been on the shelf for 2 weeks.
And you know, once it's out on the shelf, if you don't snatch it up quick, it's game over.
It's game over.
And that's why they sit there.
Yep.
Because a kid is not going to buy a $30 figure, and a collector is not going to buy a $30 figure that's destroyed.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Yep. Well, that concludes the inventory for this episode. So stay tuned, fans, for the next one, because we got a little special coming up close.
A fan episode.
Yes, we're getting close to the end of the season.
I can't believe it.
Can't believe it. And we got a special fan episode. He did a whole get-up.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. And then we got the finale coming up. So stay tuned, because the finale is going to be good too.
The finale is going to be spectacular.
It's going to be spectacular.
If you liked Hasbro's Fan Day and the Fan Appreciation Day, you are going to love the finale for our
CC&R.
Because it is definitely a fan appreciation episode.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. Until next time.